Okay, let's get started again. Okay, so I'm Dr. Yvette Kennedy, and this live is about the Gates the Gates Scholarship, which started out as the Gates Millennial Scholarship in 1999, and then that ended in 2016, which offered 10 years of educational financial aid. Okay. After that, it became the Gates Scholarship in 2017 was when it was first implemented. So, what has happened is with the Gates Scholarship, they have 4 years that it will pay for. It will pay for your bachelor's degree. So that could be 4 years, or if you take 5 years to finish it, then it will pay for 5 years of education. It is the last round of funding or the end funding to fund your complete college tuition. Okay, so if you have other financial aid, then Gates kicks in at the very end to pay for all of your tuition, your fees, your books, your transportation, anything that has not been paid for by your other scholarships. So that is why it is the last financing scholarship. Okay, so the amount of the Gates depends on how much money you need to pay for your college degree. Okay, so if you get a little bit of financial aid, then the Gates Scholarship is a lot of money. If you get a lot of financial aid, then the Gates Scholarship will be the less, because it's going to be the difference between the amount of money that you get for your education from other financial aid areas. Okay, so who is the Gates for? The Gates was originally, it was implemented because the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation found that it would be, well, there were some discrepancies in who could attend the major universities and colleges and some of the Ivy League because they were too expensive. So what happened was they created these scholarships so that minorities would not have to pay for college. So the minorities include African Americans, Hispanics, um, Native Americans, and Alaskan Americans, and Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders. So all of those ethnicities are considered as minorities. So with the Gates, they thought that, okay, we've got some, in the United States, we have a lot of bright minorities who otherwise, if they were not in a certain income bracket and a minority, they would be able to go to college and succeed. So they created this scholarship for minorities who were low income or Pell Grant eligible. And with low income, that means that usually your family makes less than $80,000 a year. So that's just a general, because it's going to depend on how many people are in your family, and actually it's going to depend on what the FAFSA says. And the FAFSA is the financial aid application that you will have to complete to even be eligible for the Gates Scholarship. So the requirements for this scholarship are: number one, you have to be a minority. Number two, you have to be a senior attending a high school, a regular high school. It can be private, it can be homeschool, but you have to be a senior in high school. You have to have a 3.3 GPA, and you have to plan on going to a 4-year college, an accredited 4-year college in the United States or any of its territories. So those are four of the major qualifications. The other qualification is that you do have to be a U.S. citizen to be able to qualify for this scholarship. Okay, so these are the things that you're going to need for the application. The first, okay, so the Gates has two phases. The first phase is filling out or completing a questionnaire on the Gates Scholarship website. And that, if you have everything in place that you need, that process only takes 30 minutes to an hour. Okay. Now, these are the things that you are going to need. You will need, and you can get these things from your counselor, you will need your class ranking. Okay, where you are in your class, because generally it's going to be to the top 10% of the class, generally speaking. So you need to know what your ranking is in your class, and you can get this from your school counselor. How many students are in your class? You also will need to get information from the FAFSA, so your parents will have to fill out the FAFSA, and that's the free financial aid, or the free federal financial aid application that they'll have to fill out. Now, you have to have them fill that FAFSA out and get the results back, because that information is needed on the application. So if they have not done that, you need to go ahead and have them do that right now. And you may say, well, I make too much. My parents make too much to be considered for this. But there again, I said, it depends on how many children are in your family and some other types of things. So it may end up that you could qualify and be Pell eligible, even if it's just a small amount. That just means that Gates will pay more for your education, for your scholarship. So don't let that deter you. Go ahead and fill that FAFSA out. Now, the scholarship is only open for, the applications are only open for 1 month. And they opened on July 15th. And today is September the 7th. So you've got until the 15th, roughly a week, to get this done. So, and it's not too much to get done, because you go ahead and get these things done and get the application, the profile, they call it the TGS profile, get that completed, and then you can start thinking about what you're going to do for your essay and your letters of recommendation. None of those things are due at this time. Okay? Your essays, nor your letters of recommendation, nor your college admittance letter that is not due right now. But the questionnaire will probably ask you, what college do you want to go to, or do you plan to go to a 4-year college? So those are just some basics that I really wanted to go over again, because questions do come up about those things. Now, the other thing that you need to do is okay, so this is a profile, and they're questions about you. Now, there are lots of people who are applying for this scholarship, okay? And we're going to be very honest, very frank about it. So, how are they going to sift through all of the applicants to eliminate and keep, to eliminate those and keep 2,000 applicants? Because that's about how many applicants go to phase 2. Okay, so we're in phase 1 now. Phase 2 will start December 1st. What phase two is, it is the 2,000 applicants who were selected to go to the next step. Okay? And at the next step is when you will receive your essay questions. It is when you will receive the information about your letters of recommendation. It is when you will receive your, they will let you know that they want to have your admissions letter for college. And that's when all of that is going to take place in December. Okay, December the 1st, and then it goes through January the 15th. Okay, then you get all of that information in, and then you have your essays read. Okay, from January the 15th through March, I think, they're reading your essays. Okay, as they are reading your essays, then you're being graded on it. So that's then. But now, what you need to focus on is you need to be very intentional about what you put on this questionnaire. Okay, you have to let them know that you are worthy of going to the second phase. So, how do you do that? Any extracurricular activities that you have been involved in, you need to make those very, 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 you need to make them stand out. Something about them stand out. Even if you were an usher in your local church, okay? If you were an usher, you were a leader because you had to communicate with people. Okay, you had to take control to tell people where to sit. Okay, and you had to, what you need to do is anything. What I'm saying is anything that you have done, any activity that you have done, you need to find where in that activity leadership skills came into play. They also look for community work that you have done. If you have volunteered anywhere in for a community activity, you need to incorporate that. Now there is a short essay or professional essay. This is what you want to, if you have to write an essay, and it may be optional, but this is your only time to actually tell them about yourself. And especially if you work, you want to tell them how you stand out in your job, perhaps even why you went to work. Was it to help your parents or some things that maybe you wanted, but you knew that they could not afford? Those types of things are the things that you need to try to highlight when you're filling out this questionnaire, because there again, you're going to need an edge, something that will make them pick and select your application or your profile from all the others that they've had. Okay. Hi, Jackson. So, with that being said, I'm just going to review. The Gates Scholarship has two phases. The first phase is the phase that you're in now. And you have to get into this phase to be even accepted for the next, because this is the entry level, okay? The start of the application, okay? So in this phase, it's a questionnaire. And for that questionnaire to be able to fill it out, you're going to need your parents to complete the FAFSA. You're going to need to, if I were you, I would list or make yourself a resume of everything that you can think of that you've done that would be academically sound, anything that you have done that has been community oriented, and anything that you have done that would show maturity. Like maybe your younger sibling was not doing well in school and you took it upon yourself to help her, or perhaps mother or father came from another country, and you were born here, but they didn't really understand the language, the English language, so you took it upon yourself to try to teach them so that they would know. I mean, these are things that many times we look at as just ordinary and not the thing that makes a big difference, but it's how you present it. Okay, now you want to list all the clubs and organizations that you are in, like the National Honor Society or any club that you're in. So at this point, you're in what you're in. Okay, so you can't go forward or look, okay, next year I'm going to join this. And you can't plan right now for this year so that you will have all of these things previously. But just think about what you have and make that pop. Make it stand out so that you can actually stand out in front of the people who are weeding through or sifting through these applications. Okay, if you have had a job, it's going to ask you more information about that job, and it's going to say optional, but if you had a job, you want to write something in there about that job. Okay, if you have any special skills, like if you are a musician, you're an athlete, you are an artist, any special skill that you have. You're awesome with computers, you're a computer programmer. There are special skills that we all have. So you have to just magnify those so that they will know you. Anything that you have done with leadership. Okay. Now, you don't want to just say, oh, I was the leader of this, I was the president of this. You want to make it where you show I mean, even if you weren't the president, you can show where a situation occurred that you showed leadership skills or something like that. And I am getting a little bit more also into the essay part, but I'm almost sure that there is a part where you have to write your professional summary. And in that area, that's where you want it to stand out. And that's where they're going to get to know you. They're going to get to know who you are by what you write in there, because otherwise you're just, numbers on a piece of paper. So what's going to make your 3 point? Okay, I don't know if I lost everybody for a minute, but I'm back. Okay, my thing went off. But anyway, that's what you're going to do. Now, so I talked about clubs, organizations, leadership, other activities, if you play volleyball, if you swim, any athletic endeavors that you do, because all of these things contribute to them looking at you in a way that your application will be selected. Okay. You will have to put the school that you plan to attend to be admitted to. And the more detailed with the information you have, the better. And the better the chances of getting selected for phase 2. So you've got until September 15th, 2024 to get this application complete. I hope that I've given you some things that will help you to stand out so that you will be progress to phase 2. Now, the good thing about this is that in phase 2, you're going to write essays. So you want to think about what you would write about, or you can be developing situations or developing relationships so that you will have something to write about when you are selected for phase 2. Okay, so this is a good time. You can also use this time after between September 15th and or whenever you complete your application or your profile. You can use this time to actually develop relationships with teachers, with counselors, so that they will be able to write something about you. And one way to do that is if you're in a class and there's a detailed question that you have, visit your teacher during their office hours. Let them know who you are and let them know how concerned you are about the class or how interested you are about the class. And that helps to build a relationship with them being able to say some good things about you. Okay. I think that is basically all. Again, this part of the application is very simple, straightforward, and to the point, but there are some things that you need to have, which means you need to start before September 14th getting your information together if you have not already completed the profile. And those things are your FAFSA needs to be completed, your class ranking, your GPA, your number of people in your class, all of those things you get from your school, from your counselor. So those are some things that you do. Um, anything, okay, anything that you write, make sure that you have it proofed before you put it in the application. Make sure that it is proofed. Make sure that what you write is not just boring, but that it draws the person in and lets them know something about your personality from the way that you write. Make it interesting, okay? Not just a lot of bullet points, because the bullet points are actually on the bullet points are actually on the questionnaire. So that's yes or no. But when you have a chance to write something, when you have an opportunity to actually write and tell them something, then that is when your personality shows. And you want your personality to stand out above all the others that are writing answers to that same question. All right, with that, I am going to conclude this. I'm going to conclude this live unless there are questions, and I don't think there are. And I just want to tell you, I wish you the very, very best, because that is why this scholarship was created. It was created for minority students who could not afford to go to higher institutions of learning, even the Ivy League colleges, so that they would not have to worry about working while they were in college and could focus on what they needed to do educationally and academically, so that they would not have to drop out of school and would be successful in life. All right, so that does it for this live, and I'll be back to talk to you more about your essay process probably after the 15th. So have a great day, and thanks for listening. Oh, please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye.